Today is May 21st and we are having our first production meeting on our recycling TIE piece. The first thing on our agenda is the venue for our piece, and to that I'm going to ask Jordan what's been done and what needs to be done.
Well, George, for our production meeting we've been discovering that we need a venue, and we decided that our piece was for year 2 students of age 7 and 8, so I looked at some schools nearby just to get the phone number. Look, Chester Park, Hillfield, St Joseph's, 2 Mile Hill, which is the closest to us. It makes sense that we do it there. Yeah, everyone knows where it is. It's quite accessible. They've got a year 2 class.
What actions need to be taken about this research that you've done?
Well, we need to phone up the schools, find out if it's actually accessible for us to do it for their year 2 class. If there's any, like the size of the class, if what we're doing is actually relevant to what they're learning, like if there's any children with specific needs that we need to take into consideration around our piece to adapt it to them especially, and the size of the class.
And when can we call them up, do you think? When will this be done by?
Well, it's half term next week, so it'll have to be either tomorrow or the first week back, or right after this.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks.
Can we be specific about when it's going to happen? When are the phone calls going to be made?
After this meeting.
Okay. It's going to happen after this meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan. Next on our agenda is to talk about the storyline and plot and the research that we've had to do for this performance. So, Mike, I believe you have some stuff on the research that we've been doing.
Yeah, I've got here like a little sheet which sort of dictates the recycling bags and colour coding used in the area which we are looking at performing in, because it sort of changes depending on area, so we need to be aware of what the specifics of the place we are going are, because we don't want to misinform children and get anything wrong. Also, I've got here a little mind map which came from research we were looking at. Basically, with the having each character be a different material, we wanted to have an interesting fact about each material so that the characters could state this. So we researched into it and found what we've got on here. And for next actions, I want to do some research, take a look at some popular songs and try and come up with some song lyrics that we can use to parody.
Cool. Thank you, Mike. When will that be done by, Mike?
That'll be done by next lesson.
Okay, thank you. James, leading on from what Mike's been saying about the characters and how they're made out of the different materials, I believe you have some information on props and costume.
I do. So like Mike was saying, we've been looking at the sort of different materials these like monsters could be made out, like the sort of different rubbish that could be recycled. And as like recycling is the big, like it's the main topic of our piece, we sort of looked at the main ones like cardboard and paper, metal, and then plastic. We started looking at that and looking at the sort of different materials we could use to make these costumes that like the monsters would be dressed in. And we thought about how we could incorporate Velcro into it, so that the children would be able to take the sort of rubbish off us and recycle it in the right areas, which would link to the the theme of the piece, what we're attempting to achieve. So my next step is to go and sort of source these materials. Like we have someone here who recycles all these cardboard boxes, which we're going to use to make the costume. So I'm going to go and speak to her the second she's available, but she's not here at the minute, so it will have to be the first day back after the holiday. So that's going to get sorted by.
Cool. And Kel, regarding what James is saying, what kind of things will we have to watch when we're using these props and costumes?
We'll have to be careful of like sharp metals and a lot of things that children might be able to harm themselves on, and make sure things are secure so they don't go flying off in movements and possibly damage children or the environment. And this will be sort of a constant process throughout the entire show, and make sure everything is safe.
Cool. And then for our next meeting, I'm going to try and develop a schedule for all of us so that we have a rough idea of what we need to get done in terms of the performance itself and staging and blocking that. Thank you, meeting adjourned. So our next meeting will be on the 1st of June, which is our first Monday back after our half term. And by that date, everyone needs to have their actions done. Can we just go over these actions, please? So Jordan, what are you going to make sure that it's done?
Ring the school and see if it's available for us to do the piece on the 17th or the 18th of June.
Cool. James?
So I'm going to source these materials that we can use to make the costumes.
Cal?
I'll be creating a risk assessment plan for each subject area.
And Mike?
Looking at song lyrics.
And I will be making a schedule for our blocking and staging of the performance. And we also all need to have thought about an ending to the piece, because we've staged an opening but we still haven't really got a clear ending. So something that I would like everyone to do is make sure that they've thought of an idea so that we can either develop, incorporate or eliminate ideas.